Spin2Win. And we kill everything. Elite, Trash Monster, Boss. Doesn't matter, man. Son Goku is strong in this one. Look. All that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, there's a goblin over here. Okay, let's zoom the goblin down. Boop. Goblin dead. Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today I'm gonna bring you the second barb build that I've been testing on the PTR, and this is the all-time favorite whirlwind barb with the wandering death power. Looks like this. When you spin, you win and you shoot this Kamehameha into a specific direction. And this one does a ton of damage when you combine it with some of the burn multipliers, with some of the elements here, and also with Lilith. And we're also gonna be spamming whirlwind a lot. Like, we're in T4 right now. We're still about sub 20 hours played, and I'm just going to show you like a quick run here, how it basically is looking. So we're going to blast here, and you see everything is getting dotted up with our Wandering Death power. So we basically just keep blasting, and this is dotting up everything on T4 already. And my gear is very scuffed. You can see here I only have like 4 GA pieces, and they only are masterwork like once or twice, but we're already very comfortable here. In T4, we're going to have the planner below, and I'm going to show you like the entire setup and explain it a bit. As you can see, we still don't have Infinite Fury, obviously, because we don't have any Mythic Uniques, so there's no Starless Sky, there's no Shaco. This is like the typical gear that you have after like 10 hours of playing or something like that into the new season. Maybe it's like 15 hours of playing, depends on how efficient you are, but I've done a lot of testing. And you can kind of see here, this is already like the Nightmare Dungeon. We're just blasting through here, and it's like very important to just keep spamming, so you always shoot the beam into the enemies, because the beam makes the enemies take 50% multiplicative damage. So you're gonna be running here. I don't have full movement speed yet, because my boots are not like, you know, not fully juiced or anything. This is just like pretty standard gear. And like this, I'll also show you a pit run later, but I'm gonna talk about the setup first. And this is what we play right now. Obviously, the setup like that. There's going to be many improvements, guys. I should probably stand a bit in the back here and pick up some of the Obduk side. That's always a nice idea. And we go to the boss here. Keep your shouts for the boss, and the boss will also melt very quickly. So we make him vulnerable with Ground Stomp, and you see we dot him up. And there's also the blisters here, and boom, T4 boss melts. And yeah, my gear here is very scuffed, as you can see. And the Wandering Death power here is extremely powerful. And yeah, as I said, can be spammed basically. And giving 50% multiplicative. And this effect also works for party members. So if I'm playing together with, I don't know, let's say a sorcerer, and I'm using this Wandering Death, and I'm channeling the stuff, and this beam hits the monster, this Kamehameha beam hits the monster, the sorcerer and all the other party members, including yourself, are going to deal 50% increased damage, multiplicatively. So this is going to be a very nice one, combined with Warcry and various support stuff. You can also have Lilith here. The Wind of Hate. This also creates extreme explosions. You have these like blisters around, and when your party members attack them, they also deal the damage, and also when you attack them. So Lilith, Wind, and Wandering Death, insane party synergy. Then we're rocking Endarials here, also multiplying our burn damage. You see, like, this is basically all the dot damage, and this is getting multiplied again and getting a ton of damage boost. And my powers are like rank 3 only, rank 11, rank 11, rank 8. So there's still a lot of power that you can get, as well as only 186 Paragon here. I think we now have like about 20 hours played, so there's still a lot more hours to be played. And yeah, these powers are insanely strong. So obviously, our Wandering is doing cold damage. Our Endeavor here is doing burn damage, and the burn is the main DPS. So that's why we also play the Cinerat's Flames here for an extra 19x plus another 5x burn damage. And then here another 31 burn damage, getting crazy on the burn. So these are the 4 powers. Wandering Death and Ariel, these are the main ones. And then Lilith and Cinerat's. I also have this planner. I'm going to link this below. Right here. So this is like basically what the planner looks like. Obviously there's no Uber Uniques yet. Like later on, you for sure want Starless Sky and maybe even Shaco. We'll see, depending if you want to speedrun. But this is already more than enough to speedrun the new T4 that is much harder, about 7 to 8 times harder than it used to be. But this whirlwind build is pretty strong for T4. So we are rocking Ugly Bastard here, double damage. Right now we don't have Wrath of the Berserking because I'm already kind of struggling with Fury. And the Call of the Ancients has been fixed, so we're using the Fury rune here to give us more Fury on Call of the Ancients. And this for now is better than Wrath. That's why I also have a couple of Call of the Ancients rolls here. Like, again, I have a very scuffed gear, but you have a little bit of cooldown reduction here. Ideally, I want the pantalones. That works as well. You can play with the pants, with Ariads, or without it. I don't have them right now, but the Ariad pants are nice because they also fix the all res. I don't even have max res right now, so that also helps a bit. So Ugly Bastard right now without Wrath, because we need the Fury. Later on, if you have Stardust Sky, you can play Wrath the Berserk instead of Call of the Ancients. Relentless here just to keep up our Berserking. We have Fist of Fate here for some good multiplier. We have Bulkatos because we do spawn Earthquakes, but the Earthquakes don't deal damage, but the Earthquakes gives us 30% damage reduction. And the Earthquake also gives us double damage. And we proc the Earthquake, we just ground stomp basically, and the Earthquake procs. And if we just spin around, we also can proc it here with our Tech Rune right now whenever we cast an ultimate. So again, the setup is a bit scuffed, but it's gonna get better as soon as you have more items. Then Ghostwalker here for big movement speed. You still want a ton of movement speed as you spin and win, and you can just like never miss on this. Like, it's always important to have movement speed so you spin fast. Then we have Vehement right now on the two-hander here. Just some nice damage multipliers. The Tempers are kind of useless right now. I don't really have anything because I was using Earthquakes. And we'll see. There's a lot of more min-maxing to do. But this build already works in T4 if you want to try it right now. And we'll see the final changes. And then we'll make a full planner after the PTR. Then we're also rocking Elements here. And we're rocking Creeping Death. So here we apply a bunch of CC basically. Right now we have Slashing Weapon on our Whirlwind. This one allows us to proc the Bleed here with Furious Whirlwind. And when we proc the Bleed, we also slow the monsters with Hamstring. So this is already basically the first one that we can trigger here. Crowd Control, slow. Then we also have Crowd Control Challenging Shout because it taunts them. That's the second Crowd Control. And we have a third Crowd Control with Ground Stomp. Ideally, I think we want to put this Creeping Death on the Amulet later. I just was too lazy to switch around all the time. It doesn't really matter for T4. But you definitely want the triple multiplier here. Put this probably on the Amulet. I think in the planner, the Creeping Death is on the Amulet, and that's like even a bit more damage. Then we have the Earthquakes here, obviously double damage. I have Fury on kill right now. This is like the old trick. Just get Fury on kill, so you get a ton of Fury back whenever you attack. So whenever you kill monsters, this helps really good. Then we have Bolt's Chieftain, obviously, can never miss. Need some damage, some cooldown reduction. And don't forget to have some Berserking damage here. The Berserking damage gives you a multiplier for our Paragon board later. I'm not even sure if I have the full one. Yeah, I have 45x here for Blood Rage. That's a separate multiplier to your burns. Then we have Inner Calm on the Amulet. Obviously, we don't stand still. This is just like an aspect that gives us 15x damage. And also, you don't really need crit chance because your burns can't crit. So crit chance here is useless. Like, this amulet is very bad. I have not been able to find a better one so far. But that's pretty much the setup here right now. And also Dust Devils here when we Whirlwind. So we spin, we spawn some Dust Devils. And these Dust Devils also make the enemies take 25x increased damage from all sources. So this one is also going to give you more multiplicative damage. Expertise, we have the 200x expertise. We make stuff vulnerable with Exploit Glyph and also with our Ground Stomp. So vulnerable is pretty much soft. And then we have the Polearm here on Whirlwind, later on with Executioner Glyph, giving us some pretty cool multipliers. Then we look over the skill tree. So here we have Lunging Strike as 2 points, Whirlwind here with Furious Whirlwind. I have 1 in Pressure Point because there's nothing else to take, but it gives you some extra vulnerable. We have Ground Stomp here with vulnerable, defense, triple shout, max the shout. We still have these, so we make range stuff bleed as well, and proc thorns, healing, movement speed, resource generation, some crit chance here. Like, you can move this around. It's just some like stuff here. Slaying Strike, Pit Fighter is definitely good. These 3 points, like, they can go into toughness if you want, because crit chance is not really needed in this build. And yeah, counter offensive. We have the maxed out Call of the Ancients. And then obviously Unconstrained. Unfortunately here, the crit multipliers don't work. Wallop also doesn't work. Like, I don't know, either it's bugged or it's not a skill. Like, it just doesn't really seem to increase the damage. And then Unconstrained. Unfortunately also, Gushing Wounds does only work for bleeds. And our main damage is Burn. This is a fire, burn, rendering Death Barb. So we just get the multiplier here and we get Berserking with Warcry. And then we can keep it up with lucky hits from Fist of Fate in combination here with some crits at least. Actually, this is probably why I took some crits. So to keep the Berserking up, so probably better than damage reduction, getting like 9 crit chance. And that's the setup right now there. And then Paragon, there's also a lot more room to optimize. This is just like a early setup you can play. Exploit, Force of Nature, Martial, Blood, Rage here, Multiplier, Revenge here. This one basically multiplies all the Thorns damage that we deal with our 2 passives of Outburst and Tough as Nails. And then we rock Decimator here, Challenger, Weapons Master here with Executioner, and that's why you gotta use the Trident, we gotta use the Polearm, and we spin, and we win, and this build rocks. More updates to come. The planner will be updated as the PTR develops. In a few hours, we finally have the copy-paste of the cheat vendor in the game, so you can like boost, and I can get rid of some of this like very scuffed non-ancestral gear. But yeah, we're gonna get there. It's gonna be fun, and I'll keep you posted. I'll probably show some more footage if I have it soon. Let's go. Now this build is pretty sick. So we just hold down, tab, and this is already T4 viable. We have the Ice Beam of the Wandering Death. And obviously, like in any good Whirlwind build, we do not want to hold. We want to spam the Whirlwind at all times. Spin2Win, we come. And obviously, I don't have any Ubers, and my gear is very scuffed. So once you have a Starless Sky, you're not going to have any resource problems. Like right now, my resource is still a bit on the edge. But it's going to be super fine with Starless Sky. So this is the Spin2Win Wandering Death Barbarian in T4. I have about 15 hours played on this character, and it's already crushing it. Already crushing it. If you run out of resources, you can also just stomp on the ground very angrily, and you get it. There's currently a bug on the PTR where you can't see how many cinders you have. But yeah, you see here, like these guys spawn, they instantly die, they drop a ton of stuff. Spin2Win going strong. Oh, there is a Harbinger here. Oh, and they're dead. Nice. And I drop some juice. And I don't have any of the legendary runes. If you have an Igni rune, if you have a Bug rune, if you have a Jar rune, you can add teleport to this. This is just like before we get the PTR copy. So I don't have any of these runes. I'm playing like some very scuffed runes. I'll show you here in a bit. But yeah, Spin2Win is here, guys, with the Wandering Death power based on dots. And we almost get an ambush again. So this is the power here. That it's melee, and my power is only rank 3, so it only gets crazy. It gives 50% X damage, 400 cold damage over time. Then we're rocking Synod's Flame here, because now it's elemental damage, and this is gonna give us a 20x boost. And then we have Andariel's Flaming Skull here with some crazy burn damage. It's also scaling like crazy, you guys can see here. If I press, or if I get all my buffs, it's gonna get even crazier here. It's already like 7 million. Rocking. And then we have the Lilith Wind of Haste. This is going to spawn the blisters on the floor. That's going to be pretty strong. And this combination is insanely good. I'm going to link the planner below. Setup right now is very scuffed. When we later have the PTR copy, I can finally play this with real runes. I'm playing some scuffed here, like Seer, Quacks. Obviously, you want to play like Bug Jar and all the good stuff, right? And then we are playing like... We're basically coming from an Earthquake build. And our Earthquake here does no damage. You see, everything is bleed. Bleed is good. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.